Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a get ready with me using all my staple products that I've been using for months. I've been doing the same variation of this makeup, whether I've been going out, whether I've been going to the supermarket, whether I've been going out for a meal. It's the same products, just tweaked a little bit every single time, but the products have remained the same. And this is the finished look that I'm going to be showing you today, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I'm barefaced, ready to get some makeup on this face, so I think we should start by prepping the skin. Such an important step in any makeup routine, but I feel like for me at the minute I do have a less is more approach. And the product that I've been really enjoying using to prep my skin recently with is the FIRST SPRAY SERUM. It's a serum in a spray bottle. Its main ingredient is white truffle from Italy. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's a double layered serum. You have the oil layer at the top. This is going to help lock in moisture and give you a really nice glow, and you have the serum layer at the bottom. This has a patented ingredient as well as the white truffle extract, which is known as the underground diamond, which anything that has the word diamond in it, we want to put it on our skin. And this layer is packed with antioxidants, vitamin E, so it's really going to help boost skin's elasticity and things like that. So it's the perfect makeup prep product because it's super fine. And even if you're oily skin like me, do not worry about this oil layer. It doesn't make your skin feel greasy or anything like that. So you shake the product to combine the two layers. This is really important because you want that oil layer and the serum layer to blend together. And the mist is so fine as well, so you can spray it after your makeup and it's not gonna go blotchy on the skin. I've been using this at the end of my makeup as well as the beginning, and it is insane. I'm going to pop it on towards the end of the makeup as well, just so you can see how nice it makes your makeup look afterwards as well. So I'm just going to spray a generous amount of this all over my skin. And you can see just how much it makes your skin look like glass. If, like me, you're wearing an outfit where you've got your shoulders and your chest, you can go ahead on the chest as well and get a bit of a glow. I recently went to Manchester, and on the night I wore it all over my chest, and my chest was so glowy all night long. Glow that it gives your skin without it being too heavy or too much under makeup is absolutely insane. It's kind of a skincare makeup hybrid product as well, so in your skincare routine you can use it in your makeup routine. It kind of slots in anywhere. It's like a really multi-purpose product. Also vegan, and it's suitable for all skin types as well. There's actually been 25 million bottles sold worldwide, which is crazy. I mean, I'm not surprised with how it makes your skin look like glass that they've sold that many bottles, but I will leave some more information to this in the description box, as well as a link where you can purchase it as well. My skin is now prepped for some makeup. It doesn't feel greasy or anything like that. It feels hydrated, feels like a really nice base. So I'm going to go in with my Hollywood Flawless filter. This is by TILBURY, and I just tend to put this all over my skin. So I just take a little bit on my cheeks and I just kind of work section by section. This is definitely my pre-pregnancy shade. I don't know what it is, but pregnancy has made me so pale. I think it's because I've not really been in the sun or anything like that. And I'm just taking this Be Perfect brush and just buffing it into the skin, and you can see the combination of the Flawless filter and this spray is just absolutely insane. So I just buff this all over as like a light layer, almost like a glow base. You can obviously mix Flawless filter with foundations, like whatever foundation you're going in with, but to be honest, I have been really enjoying putting it on first and then going in with my foundation over the top, because it just gives me a little bit of coverage so that I can use less foundation when it comes to that step anyway. So the foundation that I've been absolutely loving at the minute, I really am obsessed with this foundation. I stopped using it for a while and I've recently fell back in love with it. This is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation, and I wear the shade 2Y32. I think it's also known as Warm Caramel, I believe. So because I've already got the Flawless filter on, I don't feel like I need loads and loads of foundation on top of it, so I just take the tiniest bit on my brush. I just tend to start on my cheeks, where I probably need a little bit more coverage than the rest of my face, and you can just see how it melts into that Hollywood Flawless filter. The combination of the spray, the Hollywood Flawless filter, and this foundation is my absolute favourite at the minute. I love it. Obviously the Flawless filter does bring the glow and a little bit of coverage, but this kind of like ties everything together and makes you look super airbrushed, which I love. I do actually use a lot of cream products in my base routine, a lot of cream bronzers, cream blushers, concealers, that kind of thing. So I do actually like to use thin layers of products where I can, because I know that it's a lot of layers, so I need to keep those layers thin so that the makeup doesn't look really cakey and things like that. So this combination is just insane. I could sit and blend with this brush forever, to be honest. The longer you kind of press it into the skin, the better it looks, because I feel like you're really merging all those products together and they're having time to warm up to the skin's temperature and just melt together. It's such a dream. Okay, so before I move on to any cream bronzers, cream blush, things like that, I'm going to go in with my concealer. So I actually use 2 shades of the Tarte Shape Tape. The first one that I'm going to use is light medium. The second one that I'm going to use is light sand. So I use light medium to kind of cover the things that I want to cover, add more coverage, that kind of thing. And then I'll go in with my light sand a little bit later on to brighten, but I don't do that until after my cream bronzer, cream blush, but you will see that. So I'm taking light medium first. You can see how well loved these are from the close-ups of the products because they're just so battered. It's because I take them everywhere, but I tend to focus this shade in the centre of my face, just covering up any places that have a little bit of redness or where I need a little bit of extra coverage, I feel like. Just taking a little fluffy brush and just moving that concealer around a little bit. I tend to do these smaller areas first and then do my under eyes last, just so that has a little bit of time to set. I feel like it gives it a little bit of extra coverage. I just like to press this in and you can just see how full coverage it is. It's just my absolute favourite, and it doesn't take away from any of the glow that we've got in the skin as well. One of my favourite parts of makeup is cream bronzer and cream blush. I just feel like it brings the skin to life. It makes it more three-dimensional, and it's just one of my favourite parts. I feel like I'm really picky about cream blushes and cream bronzers. So if I really like one, I do kind of tend to stick with it for a long time. This one I've had for a million years. I honestly don't know how I've not run out yet. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Bronzer in the shade Caramel. You do actually get 30 grams of product with this, so you get a huge pot of product. It's so worth what you spend on it because it lasts so long. I mean, I've been using this for I don't even know how long now, definitely well over a year. I use it pretty much every day, every time I go out, and this is how much is left. I've still got loads left. I love the formula, it's really creamy, just a beautiful product. So I'm just taking a little bit of that on my brush, and I tend to start at the cheeks and just start adding a little bit of depth and dimension to the skin. Again, I like to press this into the skin rather than buff because I feel like it just merges all those skin products together really well. I just take it around the perimeters of my face, my forehead, nose, chin, just for like an overall bronze. Like I say, I'm really particular about the cream products that I do use because I find that a lot of them do break up the foundation or they don't sit well with powders and things like that. So when I find a really good one, I tend to stick to the same ones. And I feel like that's me with products in general at the moment. I really enjoy just using what I love. I love trying out new things, and if something makes it into my favourites, then I know it's a really good product. Just going back in with my foundation brush just to blend any areas where the cream bronzer is meeting the foundation, and I just want a little bit of extra blending. And then next step I like to go in with is cream blush. This cream blush has been my favourite for well over a year now, and I think it's actually my favourite cream blush formula of all time. It's so affordable, it's £6, but it is just so amazing, and it's the e.l.f. Putty blush. I think these are so incredible for the price. The formula is insane. It's really beginner friendly because it's just so easy to use. It's not too liquidy, so it doesn't separate on the skin. It just lays over products so nicely. This is a shade Bora Bora, but I actually have every single shade in this blush because I love it that much. It's so good. It just melts into the skin. So I just like to press this on my cheeks, and I'll kind of blend it into the cream bronzer as well, and just a little bit on the nose and up to the temples. But this is just the most unreal formula. It's not greasy, it's not too matte, it's just the perfect in between. It really goes well with that Anastasia Beverly Hills cream bronzer formula as well. I'm going ahead with the lighter shade of the Tarte Shape Tape. This is Light Sand. I've just been putting the tiniest smidge right on the inner corners there, and I really like to use super light pressure to buff this down and kind of into the apple of my cheek here where the blush is, and they just lay over the top of each other so nicely that they just like melt together and create this really nice under eye. And I just keep pressing until I feel like it's all nice and blended, taking a little bit of that across the lid as well. You can see how that's brightened up that area, but it's so subtle as well. This is probably my favourite part of the makeup, setting everything in place, blurring that skin, getting it locked in. This is Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. the best powder on the market for me. I feel like I've been using this, gosh, well before I even started working at Laura Mercier, and I was 19 when I worked there, 26 now. It's like been 8 or 9 years that I've been using this, and honestly nothing compares for me. There's been close things that have come to it, I feel like, but nothing that ever takes over its #1 spot for me. I will continuously buy this again. If I never had to try another powder again in my life, that would be fine. I would 100% take that. So I just take it on my Real Techniques brush, and I just use the original one. I actually prefer this to the newer one. And I just press this right onto my under eyes first and kind of into my cheeks. And I use this mainly on my under eyes and my T-zone because I feel like it sets everything really, really well. And with having oily skin as well, it's really, really important for me to lock in the makeup because it will slide off my face if I don't kind of lock it in. So I'm really pushing this powder into the skin. I'm really pushing those products together to make sure that it stays all day. Go ahead and set in all that skin together, and it does kind of mattify down the glow that we've put down, but I'm going to bring the glow back. And that way it's more controlled as well, because you know that your makeup's locked in place, but you've added glow in the areas that you want it and that you need it. So I just tend to press this right in the T-zone. And then for the rest of my face, I've been using the Vive Modern Powder Perfector, I think it's called, in the shade Medium, and a big fluffy brush just to set down those areas, especially over the cream bronzer and cream blush. I don't want those moving anywhere, so I just like to make sure that I have set those in place. So these days I tend to do blush first and then bronzer. I feel like sometimes if I go bronzer first, I can end up getting a little bit bronzer heavy, and then going in with the blush, it looks a bit much. So I've been going in with blush first, and if you've been following me on my socials, you will know how much I'm obsessed with this blusher. Like, I cannot even explain to you how good this is, how beautiful it looks on the skin. It is just a dream. The first time I ever tried this, I was absolutely blown away. I've got every single colour now, and it's a dream. It's the CIATE Glow 2 blush. I'm using the shade Summer Fling today. It's like this peachy light pink shade, and wait until you see how this goes on the skin. So I just like to focus it right on the cheeks, and you can really layer it up as well, and it just gives you the most insane glow. They are just the best blushers. As much as they add glow, they don't highlight any texture on the skin either, because there's nothing worse than using a glowy blush and then all of a sudden you've got all this texture that you never knew you had. It's literally the most insane product. Is so good. And going in with my bronzer, the same bronzer that I've been using since the beginning of time. This is the MAC Mineralize Skin Finish in the shade Dark, and I just like to follow that on where I put the cream bronzer, so just super light pressure and just getting a nice bronze back to the skin. So now that our base makeup is pretty much done, before I go ahead and do my eyes, I like to spray all my skin again. I'm using the FIRST Spray Serum again. This is going to help to merge all those powders together, melt everything down, bring the glow back. It's just absolutely beautiful, and because of how fine this mist is, it's not going to create any splotches on my face or anything like that, so I can be quite generous with it. So again, shaking those oil and serum layers together, and I'm just going to go ahead and go wild on my skin. This might look a little bit intense, but this is genuinely how much spray I use after I've done my skin. It really helps to melt everything together. It just makes your skin look absolutely insane. So I like to spray it on and give it a bit of a fan before I do anything else. I also like to do this step before I do my eyes, because I feel like if I use a spray right at the very end, sometimes it can make my eyeshadow crease, whether the spray has oil in it or not. So I always like to do this step after I've finished all my skin before I go in on eyes. So now that that's pretty much settled down, I'm going to press the rest of it into my skin with a Huda Beauty powder puff. And I just like to tap very gently over the skin. And what this does is it just pushes the rest of that serum into the skin and just brings the most insane glow. Because all the makeup is locked in using powder products, it means that we've got long-lasting glowy skin, which I feel like if you're like me and you've got really oily skin, it's very difficult to get a nice glowy skin without it being too oily. You can just see again the insane amount of glow that this spray gives. It is honestly like a miracle product. Like, you all need to get it because it is actually that good. So moving on to eyes and brows. Obviously I've kind of got my eyebrows already on. I've already gone through them with a bit of pencil. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade medium brown, but I'm just going to go ahead and touch them up because we have been doing a lot of cream products and things like that, so I just feel like they need a quick freshen up. And I feel like everybody does their brows so different. So then to set my brows in place, I've actually been using the NYX brow glue. So I usually use the Brow Freeze by Anastasia Beverly Hills, but my friend recommended this to me, and ever since I bought it, I love the convenience of the spoolie actually being in the product. I've actually been using this quite a lot, and it's a really, really good affordable alternative to the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. If you're looking to save a bit of money on your brow products, definitely recommend this one. I just like to comb it through my brows. I don't like a super laminated look. I just like something that's going to hold my brows in place all day and not going to make them move. They can just stay there but still look nice and fluffy. But I do still like a little bit of structure to my brows. To prep the lid, PLOUISE base in the shade 2.5 as usual. So I just take a little bit of that, not too much, all over my lids. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get that nice coverage all over my lids so that they're nice and prepped for anything that goes on top. And just shaping out my brow a little bit as well, just so again we've got a little bit more structure. And then I'm using a fluffy eyeshadow brush just to blend all that PLOUISE base, making sure it's merging with the skin really nice. We are going to go in with one more cream product on the eyes, but I just like to make sure that each step is blended to perfection before we move on to something else. Then recently, I really like using my cream bronzer on the eyes. I don't know what it is. I started doing this a few weeks ago, and every time I do my makeup, I just love doing it. So I just take a fluffy brush and dip into that cream bronzer, and I just kind of like to take it as an eyeshadow. I kind of do the same motions that I would do with a powder eyeshadow. I just sort of like to go all over the lid, taking it right over the brow bone, in the socket. And the good thing with creams on the eyes as well is you can really pat them in and they blend so well. It's like so effortless. It looks like you've spent ages on your eyeshadow when you really haven't. And you can see it makes such a difference on this eye compared to this eye. And then I go back in with my Laura Mercier translucent powder and I actually set the whole thing. This is not something I usually do with eyeshadows. If I'm working with like an actual eyeshadow palette, I won't really set the base. But to be honest, I'm not using a lot on the eyes these days, like not a lot of eyeshadows and things like that. So I do like to make sure that those lids are set in place, to make sure that any like liquid products like eyeliner or mascara, they don't transfer or anything like that. Any creasing, I just want everything to look smooth and seamless. So this step is a little bit of an essential for me, and plus we have gone in with two cream products there, the PLOUISE and the cream bronzer, so I do like to make sure that they are set in place. Next step is the easiest low maintenance eyeshadow look that you will have probably ever come across. If you are in a rush, if someone's invited you out for drinks like last minute, this is a game changer. So you need a super fluffy brush like this one. It's like the size of maybe like a highlight brush, and your bronzer, you just want to dip straight into the bronzer with the brush and you just want to go all over the lid. You don't have to be neat or anything like that. Just go straight over the lid, drag it out into the skin and just kind of repeat that process. Take it all over the lid as well, right up into the brow bone and out, and it is the quickest, easiest eyeshadow look. It suits all eye shapes. That literally took 2 seconds and it looks like we've spent ages blending out eyeshadow. And I feel like because the Mineralized Skin Finish is so soft and buttery, this just works so well. I'm going to do a little bit of a wing using MAC Espresso eyeshadow. I always have a little mini espresso with me. I have for years. Sometimes I use it for brows. I always use it as liner. Sometimes I use it in my hair. Like, it's just one of those eyeshadows that I've had forever that I always repurchase because I always feel like I need one with me. And plus, if you don't want to take a big eyeshadow palette everywhere just to do a wing, this one is so good. You could just have this, your bronzer, highlight, something like that, and you can create a full look with it rather than carrying around an eyeshadow palette. So I'm just going to go in with Espresso Brown and a teeny wing liner brush. I'm just going to go ahead and create a nice little wing. And I feel like a shadow wing is so nice for every day, but also if you're going out as well and you don't want something that's too much, you can just go ahead and use a little bit of an eyeshadow. And I just like to take it halfway, no further than that, and just take in some leftover concealer that's on my brush and just really perfecting that line. This is a product that I actually have never used before, but I saw it in my drawer this morning and I thought what a perfect opportunity for us to try it together. I did an online KVD Beauty masterclass when they launched on Look Fantastic, and the woman who was doing the masterclass, she used this on her eyes and oh my goodness, it looked beautiful. So I thought we could finally try it together. This is a Dazzle Stick Longwear eyeshadow in the shade Hail Surge 10. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger, it looks so beautiful. I'm just going to press this all over my lid. Wow. So eyes are done. I'm going to go in with my Tweezerman lash curlers. These are the best lash curlers of life. And then for my mascara, the one that I'm using at the minute is the Benefit Roller Lash. It's pretty much been one of my favourite mascaras, but I always forget about it and then I come back to it and I remember how much I love it, especially because the wand is so thin as well. You can just really get a nice grip on your lashes. And if I just do a quick comparison, this side compared to this side, such good mascara. You can leave the eyes here if you want in a little bit of more of a daytime look. I'm actually going to add a pair of lashes because I feel like getting glam today. These are the TATTI lashes in the style Angel Energy. Okay, lashes are on. They do actually look a lot fuller on camera than they are in real life. So finishing off the look with a lip. This is my all-time favourite lip liner. I honestly don't use anything else other than this, whether I go out, whether it's day to day. I cannot stop using this lip liner. It's been months now and I just absolutely love it. I love the formula, I love the shade of it. It's just perfection. This is the Makeup Forever Artist Colour Pencil in the shade Anywhere Caffeine. It is the perfect in between, like a pinky and a brown. It's perfect neutral. It goes with any lipstick. It's just so nice. And I just make sure it's nice and blended. How nice is that shade? I honestly can't get over it. And then I'm just going to top it off with, again, one of my all-time favourite lip glosses. This is the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme in the shade Bubblegum Yum. I reach for this when I've got no makeup on. I reach for it when I'm doing a full face. It is just so glossy, not sticky. If you're not into plumping lip glosses, maybe give this one a miss. But if you are into plumping lip glosses, this one is amazing. And that is the final look, guys, for today's Get Ready With Me. I hope you enjoyed a little bit more of an in-depth makeup tutorial. Let me know if you want any more. I will leave links and information to all the products that I've used in today's video. And also a thank you so much to Delba for working with me on a portion of this video as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.